I have some real big steps ahead of me, and I was just kind of wondering if you could kind of give me your best, maybe send a blessing or something.
Well, we have to tell you that you don't have to come and sit in the hot seat for that. That is something that is always given to you all the time, all the time, all the time. Now, what we could do is maybe talk you into believing that.
You know what? I actually do believe that. I do understand what you're saying, but it was really hard for me to kind of ask what I would like to know, basically.
So if you already know that, what's this about?
Maybe a blessing, like not the same type of blessing that you're thinking about, but something a little bit different. It's really hard to explain because I'm not really able to explain what I'm doing right now or what I'm about to do, but
well, know these things. Just relax and listen to us for a little while. Know these things. You are never, not one moment, ever by yourself. And it's not just a friend, as in the way the idea of inner being sounds. It's all of the non-physical family. Putting numbers to it waters it down and makes it feel less significant. It's God force. It's the consciousness that makes up God force. Keenly aware of you, aware of what you've lived, what you've asked for, what that asking has created, and what you are now asking for. You are understood. Now, I want to go back to something that we were saying earlier. When you are choosing the mutuality with your inner being, you are understood. And you know, that's the reason that everyone is trying to get someone else to go along with them about something. You're looking for understanding all the time. And we know that it can't be instantly satisfying for any of you to hear us say, you are understood. But when we say, you are understood, we mean it. We mean that all of the things that you've ever heard about rightness and wrongness, and all of the things that you've ever heard about this appropriate behavior and that appropriate behavior, all of those things that you've ever heard are surpassed by the understanding that your inner being has about you. You are understood. You are understood and adored. You are understood and still focused upon.
Especially since I have started becoming more spiritual, I have never felt more misunderstood, even around other spiritual people, especially around people, call them muggles, or call people who just aren't woke up
But
yet.
think about why that is. It's because you're trying to interpret the spirituality through the humans that aren't there.
I've had a really hard time reaching out to spiritual people for help.
You have a direct route. Why use an interpreter?
Sorry, one more time, please.
Because the interpreters always introduce some of their own stuff to the mix.
I understand what you're saying, yeah.
And is that satisfying?
No, because it's very lonely.
But you see, what you're just saying doesn't make any sense. What you're saying is, I seek alignment with source energy, because that's what the ultimate definition of spirituality is. I seek alignment with my source energy. I seek alignment with that pure positive energy and that clarity. In Abraham speak, I seek alignment with what's in my vortex and with all who are there, all the cooperative components that are gathered there. And what you just said that doesn't make any sense is, all of that's real, but I need somebody else to explain it to me or interpret it to me, and so far I'm not really feeling it. And that's because you got to go direct.
No, actually, it's just totally not resonating with how I actually feel what you're saying, though.
Then talk more to us.
It's really complicated.
So are you underestimating our ability to understand?
No.
Well, then tell us.
You know what? I'm not too sure. I promise there's actually something that I'm working on. Yeah, okay. All right, Abraham. Pretty shortly here, I'm going to be orchestrating something that's going to get rid of all weapons of mass destruction. Can you help me with that?
It's going to take a minute.
Okay, I got time.
Sometimes people say to us, will you join our peace movement? Can you relax and trust that we're getting to where you want to be? And let us get you there through the path of least resistance, because we know everything that's going on with you and everything that's coming along with it. And we can guide you through the path of least resistance to a resolution here. So can you allow us to guide you, and you, for just a little bit, not try so hard to guide us?
To which, sorry?
Allow us to guide you,
Yeah.
and you try not so hard to guide us.
Oh, to guide you, okay.
So we have some questions that will feel soft, maybe even silly to you at first, but there is a method to our madness, so just follow us a little bit. Sometimes people will say, Abraham, will you come to a peace march with us or a peace something with us? Will you help us create peace on earth? And we say, we would not join such a movement, because it is our knowing that everyone is free to create their own reality. So we will teach you how to find a vibration that will allow it around you. But we know for sure that we can't teach you a way to force everyone else into something that maybe they do not want, or maybe that they're not ready to allow. Because in this universe, there is no such thing as law of assertion. There is law of attraction. There is the art of allowing, but there is no such thing as the law of assertion. So, how you doing? You all right?
I'm good, but we're still not really dialed in with this.
You're not patient enough to allow us to get there.
Okay, no, I'm good.
What we're doing is we're building a premise to help you to understand that you don't get to assert what you want onto others, even if you have determined that what you are asserting is really better for everyone else. Still, the laws of the universe and the non-physical angels, in fact, that which you call God, will not assist you in making it your way.
I didn't say it was going to be. I don't think anybody would do something like go after the weapons of mass destruction if you weren't divinely guided in the first place and didn't have a vision. I don't think, I mean, it would...
Remember the conversation that we had just a little bit ago, the conversation that we had about how our friend was talking about opposition. And we were talking about how when you find alignment, then you accomplish a leverage that all forces assist you in. So it's not about pushing away the weapons of mass destruction. It's about amplifying a vibration that does not hold them.
I think it may have been a mistake coming up. I might actually just hop back down because, it's a little bit different. Yeah.
Well, you might as well leave before all of them do.
Okay, no, thank you. No.
All is well. You want to hang in here for just a little bit and cause some soothing here? There's a human premise that goes like this. There are things that are always good and there are things that are always bad. And the way the expansion of the universe happens is that there's not a pre-assigned destiny to anything. There is a variety that produces individual desires, and then when you come into alignment with those desires, then that becomes your experience. So it is certainly a possible thing that enough people could experience enough contrast with the threat of something like weapons of mass destruction, or even AK-47s, or even rifles on the 509 that are shooting the windows out of cars in Seattle. It is logical that there could be enough contrast that could be happening in the lives of focused people that they could be building a vortex that includes a very different life. In fact, that's been going on for a long time. That's been going on for a very long time. As people starve, the vortex becomes filled with more food. As people are impoverished, the world is filled with more financial gain. As people are frightened by the assertion of others with violence into their experience, the world is really filled with more peace. But it's filled with this vibrational reality that humans can't see. And so they don't want to accept the reality of it because they can't see it or hear it or smell it or taste it or touch it. And one thing that we've noticed about humans, you've noticed it too, is that in most cases, you'd rather have a negative thought than no thought at all. Because the negative thought feels like you're doing something about something. But once you begin to accept the reality of this vortex, and you begin to accept the well-being of life on planet Earth that you've created through the struggles and through the trials and tribulations and contrasts that you've lived. If you can believe in the reality of this vibrational reality, and then you can distract yourself from the things that cause you to push against it and not achieve it long enough that your vibration can rise, when enough of you have that rise in vibration, then what's in your vortex will be realized by more of you. So peace on earth is not about getting rid of the weapons of mass destruction. Peace on earth is about being a vibrational match to what you've put into the vortex that you prefer instead. On one end of it is the pushing against which the weapons of mass destruction imply. If you don't do what we want you to do, then we will destroy you altogether. And on the other end of that stick is the freedom that everyone is reaching for. So if you can accept that there is a vibrational reality, that there is a vibrational reality that includes love and clarity and peace, but it also includes the contrast that keeps all of that going. If you can accept that this vibrational reality exists, and then you can get off the big subjects, get off of your soapboxes, stop trying to make everything bigger than it really is, and just find a reason right now while you're standing in line with these people to feel satisfaction about something. Till little by little you tune yourself to the frequency of everything that you want that's in your vortex. Now, it doesn't take very many of you before you tip the balance of that, but we don't want to talk to you about what you need to do in order to change the world, and then the changed world will make you feel better. That's the same conditional life that you've been living that isn't working out well for you at all. What we want you to do is find satisfaction so that you can live the satisfaction that you deserve. And as you do that, and you do it consistently, then others begin to rise to your vibration. And of course, there is the potential to more people feeling more love. But that can't matter to you. You can't let your happiness and your connection be contingent upon what one person is doing on the planet. It's all an inside job. It's all about what you're doing. So lots of times when we talk about this vortex and this collective consciousness, it feels to humans that what we're talking about is that you can get into vibrational alignment, and when you do, you can change the world. And what we want to say is, when you get into vibrational alignment, you can change your world, and that's as far as your personal freedom goes. You can change your point of attraction. You can change what comes to you. You can change what thoughts come to you. You can change how much you are in concert with source energy. And so then the next logical sequential thought that comes from most humans is, well, if I do that, Abraham, if I envision peace on earth, if I create a vortex of that, if I align with that, if all that is joins me and we find this vibration of clarity, then will the world not have to rise with us to that vibration? And we say, don't you think that all that is has been after that for as long as you've been around? Don't you think that source energy, that which is God, that which is love, is focused on that and only that? And with all of that is happening, still humans find ways of pinching themselves off from that. And all the weapons of mass destruction are evidence of your feeling of vulnerability. And shouldn't they be allowed to exist in a universe that feels vulnerability? In other words, if you feel vulnerability, all of the weapons of mass destruction that exist are only mutual to the vulnerability that you feel. So yes, of course, when you feel less vulnerable, when you instead know your value, then they become less mutual to you. They become less of a player to you. They rot in the ground. They become disintegrated. They become non-use. They are not reestablished. But you cannot let your sense of alignment, your sense of well-being be contingent upon what else is going on around you, or you'll just never get there. Changing the environment around you is not the path of least resistance. It's the path of greatest resistance. Changing the way you feel within is the path of least resistance. It's also the path of most alignment. It's also the path of most leverage. It's also the path of most freedom. It's also the path of happiness. It's also the way the entire universe works. So